EPAWA meteorologist Bobby Martich here with your outlook for the weekend of August 3rd and 4th, 2024. This weekend's video forecast is proudly brought to you by Pitch a Tent Rental Company, who ask if you've ever had the desire to sleep around. If so, they can help you make that happen. Pitch a Tent Rental Company has expanded into RV rentals with 2 travel trailer offerings that can be found on Outdoorsy and RV Share, along with being listed on their own site at pitchatentrentals.com. Click on Adventure Rentals for more information. If you're still in need of tent tables and chairs for those summer parties, they can continue to help you there too. Be sure to visit them at pitchatentrentals.com for all of your recreational rental fun. Pitch a Tent is located in Fogelsville, Pennsylvania, and proudly serves the greater Lehigh Valley and surrounding regions, and are proud sponsors of the weekend video forecast. So we do have a upper level trough still moving eastward today. We do have some more scattered showers and thunderstorms to deal with today. Today is not going to be too dissimilar from what we saw here on Friday. Not really. Same kind of general idea, same general timing. And then listen, I've been talking about this all week. This is generally the same timing and same expectations we've had for the entire week. Nothing's really changed. We're kind of in that same boat. Today, the threat for severe weather is across our southeastern areas as outlined by the Storm Prediction Center. And I do think this is a good placement for any severe activity today. I think in the interior, you're probably just dealing with something more garden variety, and that's it if you do get anything at all. Here's the NAM high-res future simulated radar starting us off at noon today. And moving this forward, we do have, once we get to the early afternoon hours, some storms blossoming over south central and southwestern Pennsylvania, and that's going to continue off to the east here. You notice there's really not too much activity across the northern tier, and this activity further south is going to be isolated severe. So again, giving context to this as I normally do, this is not a washout by any means here on Saturday, but you will have the opportunity as you get in the mid to late afternoon hours through the early evening to see some scattered thunderstorms. And this will not be severe, even though for the most part there's an isolated chance. Now, it's all a marginal risk really indicates is an isolated risk for a severe storm, and that would be in the form of wind. I don't think the wind potential is going to be quite as high as it was yesterday, and even that wasn't that great, right? So we have mostly a heavy rain threat in any of these storms that are moving through, and of course frequent lightning. That's your main threats today, and that's going to be mainly across our southern areas, as you can see here, as the NAM's taking right across the I-78 corridor, actually south of I-80, and then going straight into pretty much most of New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, southern Pennsylvania, central and southern Pennsylvania with this activity. And that's going to go into early evening, and then it starts to die off. So it's not much different in timing from what we had yesterday. Not much different at all. And then you could have some residual showers maybe hanging around to the late evening and overnight, but that's it. That's all you got. As far as Sunday is concerned, we do have this system. Now, this is the global models are starting to turn in the direction of less precipitation on Sunday. Here's Sunday afternoon on the European model. Has very little. The lightest gray color here is the lightest on this scale, all the way down to the bottom left. So there's really not much here. The NAM does have some isolated activity, however, and you can see that here, just isolated in a few spots. This is kind of like it was earlier in the week when we just isolated stuff, nothing really organized. So there is some isolated activity possible here on Sunday afternoon, but again, this is not a washout either, not even close, okay? So once we get into Monday, we're back to partly to mostly sunny skies, and temperatures are going to come up a little bit, and that's going to be temporary. We're going to have temperatures getting up into the lower 90s at that point. You see today 86 to 92 in the temperatures. 92 would be in our far southeastern areas, and 85 to 90, same thing. 90 would be in the far southeastern areas, and that's it. The rest of the area is going to be in the mid to upper 80s for most of this weekend. Once we get to Monday, everybody's back into the 90s again, it looks like, except for maybe the Pocono Plateau. But other than that, it looks like just a singular day that will be in the 90s. We do have a trough moving off down from the north, and you're going to have a cold front move through on Tuesday, and you can see that here. You're noticing this system down here. This is a what will be tropical storm Debbie eventually, and this is now a tropical depression. It's going to move up to the western coast of Florida here. Maybe make landfall here in the Big Bend area or thereabout. This is models are starting to get better organized with where, or more consolidated anyway, with where the landfall point's going to be. It's going to be somewhere here on the western coast of Florida near the Big Bend, most likely. After that, once it crosses over the peninsula, which is expected to do on just about everything, there's a big question mark on what it does here. So when we get to early next week, this is Tuesday morning, okay? And there's really not going to be much variation at this point. We don't know what it's going to do. Is it going to sit here and spin, stuck under that ridge, get picked up by this trough and sent out to sea? There's a lot of different questions to be answered, and that's not going to be known until we get into next week what this is going to do once it comes back over water off the southeastern U.S. coastline, if in fact it does that. That's still a question mark too. Tropical systems are still have to follow the laws of physics, but they kind of do their own thing sometimes, where they kind of meander, and if they're not picked up by external forces, they can kind of just sit there. And in this case, that's what it's doing on the European model. This goes through on cold fronts going to come through our region, we know, on Tuesday. So we have partly cloudy skies to start, scattered PM thunderstorms that'll go into the evening and overnight. And this front may get hung up a little bit and give us some additional storms here on Wednesday. But again, the eventuality of this is still in question. So that lake week period, and I put this in a long range yesterday, the late week period is still very highly uncertain, just because we don't know what this is going to do. Does it come up the coast here? Is it going to go out to sea? Is it just going to sit here stuck under a ridge and not able to move? There's a lot of questions to be answered with that. So the late week forecast next week is probably changeable. It could be completely dry. It could be maybe passing showers for our thunderstorms for our southeastern areas in the Wednesday, Thursday timeframe. Right now, we just have isolated showers here in the forecast for Thursday. The European model today took us way back inland again. So, I mean, there's a lot of goofy things going on here in a longer range. We're looking at hour 174 at this point. Is this right? Who knows? So, again, next week we'll follow that and see what happens with it. I wouldn't be too concerned about it right now. The only thing we're certain about is that by the time we get to Tuesday, we'll have more scattered showers and thunderstorms. Beyond that, does this front get hung up a little bit and give you more storms on Wednesday? It's possible. That's what we have in our local forecasts. But the end of the week is a little murky right now. So continue to follow that next week when we get back on Monday for the next forecast video. Hopefully have a better handle on it at that point. But I'm starting to think it might be a couple days, even into the next week, before we even figure that out. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Just enjoy the weekend. And remember, it's not going to be a washout this weekend at all. Just some scattered afternoon and evening thunderstorms to dodge. It doesn't look like a tremendous amount of rain overall. But some of these storms that come through here on Saturday especially will have locally heavy rainfall as the main threat. Locally heavy rainfall is the main threat. Secondary threat would be from lightning. Wind would be a tertiary threat here, the third on the list. But this is going to be isolated if you have any kind of wind damage from any of these storms here. I think are mostly going to be heavy rain producers. I'm EPA WA meteorologist Bobby Marters. That is your outlook for the weekend, August 3rd and 4th. 2024. Have a great Saturday and Sunday.